Okay, I'm not sure if I'm live. I'm gonna send out a tweet though. Um, Hi, so just let me know if you can hear me okay. Um, we, as always, have had some minor audio issues, so took a little bit of time sorting that out. Please let me know just if I'm audible. Should be live. I'm seeing a green light over there, but who knows? This is all very mysterious to me. So yeah, just like sound off in chat if you can hear me, please. Oh, make sure that we're not streaming back to ourselves. I didn't check on that. That might be happening.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's make sure we're not doing that. Great, sounds like I am coming through. Hi everyone. I'm just going to jump right into it. If you have seen this stream before, I apologize, but I'm going to explain right now that this is my regular stream where I've been playing Final Fantasy XIII, which was a really big design inspiration for my upcoming RPG, Get in the Car Loser. So I'm going to be playing through, talking about some of the design decisions they've made, talking about how this influenced Get in the Car, and after the Final Fantasy XIII segment, I will be showing some of Get in the Car in development. I implemented a feature based on actually something that someone said in chat last time, so I'm going to show that off. But for now, let's get started with Final Fantasy. And examine this tasteful... I'm not really sure what it is, actually. I feel like this might be the first location in the game where you can examine stuff.
How many hours in are you?
To be fair, this is like the first time that we've like slowed down enough to actually do that. This is like very like a traditional Final Fantasy interior where you can actually look at stuff. I assume what happened was that the level designer for this area didn't realize what kind of game this was, and like, you know, rigged up a bunch of captions without realizing that like this is completely outside of the game's idiom. Like, it's not bad, it just slightly stands out.
Now for an update on the situation in Palampolo. The fal'Cie continue their desperate flight, and the military has now launched an all-out campaign to eliminate them. In the event you must leave your home, please follow the instructions broadcast on this channel.
Must be the kid's family.
Roughly 2,500 civilians believed to have come in contact with the fal'Cie are now being held in quarantine by the Sanctum. Our latest Instapoll has shown a vast majority in favor of the immediate purging of these individuals, believing their treatment...
Lay down.
Oh, right. See, you took the kid's toy away.
He gave it back to me. Said he didn't need it anymore.
Go figure.
It was too much. What happened to Sarah? All I could think about was, what could I have done? I hated myself for not trusting her. It hurt too much. I couldn't face it. Look, Snow. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
For what?
Everything.
If you told me your real name, I suppose I could.
Have Sarah tell you. When she comes back.
Deal.
Snow, I appreciate that you're really hot, but why?
My dad said he'd
You
like
took
to
your
see
shirt
me.
off, but you left your
He wants
boots
to
on the
talk.
bed.
The blame is mine. I couldn't save her.
If it wasn't for Snow, I wouldn't be here right now.
Snow. Did Nora... Did she say anything to you?
Hope. She said to get him home.
And that's exactly what you've done. Face to face like this, it's hard to believe you're all dangerous fugitives. But the entire world is scared to death of you, fal'Cie. No, not even just you. People who've helped you, bumped into you. Sometimes it's even just people who've walked by one of you. They think they're tainted and want every one of them purged.
The Sanctum's a puppet of the fal'Cie. To them, our lives don't mean anything at all. We'll stop this. Take down the Sanctum and save Cocoon.
You've thought that through? If fal'Cie take down the Sanctum, fear of Pulse will only get worse. It won't stop at fear. People will take up arms and stand against you. Can you imagine it? The rampant violence.
When the government's control is gone, the citizens will revolt.
So what then? We're supposed to just smile and eat a bullet? That means you too.
I know I'm part of this. I'm on your side of the fence. Harbor of fal'Cie and a public enemy.
Coming here was a bad idea.
This is your home. We're all here. Let's figure this out together. Huh?
Heads up!
Hope! In the back!
You're not ready for this. I'll stay here. Snow, help my dad.
Come on.
And thus ends your very brief break. That is about as much as anyone ever gets to catch their breath in this game. Okay, let's scan these guys. Looking extremely normal. Yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, what's really exciting is that I finally have 3 party members, and that's really where the battle system works. It's built around the idea of having 3. Unfortunately, up until this point of the game, it doesn't really happen very much. Because they want to do like these character moments where they can introduce characters and show them in like really tight proximity to each other, and as a result, the battles really suffer. I'm really excited to stop saying that because we'll finally be mostly with 3-person parties. There's still, there's still Saz and Fanil doing their thing, but eventually the game is all 3 parties all the time. Yay, 5 stars, but I still didn't get anything good from this.
If we barricade ourselves in here, they're not gonna just give up and go away. Shouldn't we be making tracks out of here?
Or I could fight more cops, that's fine. So what Ren and Ardeej are talking about in chat is that in Final Fantasy XIII-2, there's really only 2 main characters. So to fill out that 3rd party slot, they just let you put any enemy in. There's like a thing where like you meet monsters and like put them in your party, including Flans. I deeply respect the commitment to the all Flan run. Yes, incentive chip. Finally, I got some wallets.
Is it over? Are they?
They're fine. Your son's a tough kid.
The battalion.
They'll take out the whole building next.
Dad! Hope! Thank goodness. Are you hurt?
No. How about you?
Still in one piece.
My turn. Don't shoot! I'll show you what a Lassie looks like! Me! I'm a Lassie! Surprised? Expected some kind of monster? I'm flesh and blood, like you! An ordinary citizen of Cocoon! Don't you get it? This has been our home our whole lives! How could we even think about destroying it? We want to protect this place just as much as you!
He's on our side? He's lying. What if he's telling you it's a trick?
You must be Snow Villiers. Yag Roche, Psychom Division. I understand your plight. However, the Pulse threat is not so easily dismissed. The very existence of fal'Cie puts every last one of us in danger. Tell me, do you really think your life is worth more than the lives of millions of Cocoon citizens? I do not. And so, it falls to me to order your execution. It's that simple. It is my responsibility to see you put down. Your lives are forfeit. Oh, cut the crap! You want fal'Cie? Then kill fal'Cie! Why do other people have to die? The purge has got to stop! Do you think we want to purge our own people? If any trace of Pulse remains, the populace will erupt into chaos! Without sacrifice, without the purge, Cocoon will die! Who fired? I gave no order! No!
We're leaving. Hope, tie up your dad. We threatened you and forced you to help us. Got it?
There must be something
Do
else.
what she says. I can't let you get dragged into this. I want to stay here, but there's no place for fal'Cie. I'm going with the others. We'll survive somehow. I promise you that. Dad, I hate to run out on you.
You're not running! This is not running away. You've made a choice. You'll survive and do what needs to be done.
You mean complete my focus?
Don't you worry about that. You make the choice.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, Bartholomew's alright. He's very supportive.
Our turn, hero.
What? I can handle a little gas.
Catch your breath. I'll throw in some hits for you.
Okay. Cast Libra. What are you about? I see. There's 4 of you. Do I have to scan all of them? Okay, I actually don't remember how this works. It says stagger point none, which is... weird.
Let's wrap this up. This will be quick.
Gotta stay in control.
Okay, what do the other parts look like? Oh yeah, right. This entire fight is the reason why Snow isn't in your party is because none of these things can be hit from close, and that's like a slightly meaningful thing in this. So everyone is using ranged attacks. Yeah, I guess it just goes all the way up to 999. That said, I can still use buffs and debuffs, so I'm gonna do that. I agree. I think Snow should be able to just punch an airship. That seems reasonable. That seems like something he'd do.
Surrender now!
Let's... I'm just gonna keep a Sentinel in this party, because... doesn't seem to be helping. Okay. Pick one with both a Sentinel and a Medic. I do want to have some damage in here, just so, like, I'm actually making progress, even when I'm trying to recover health. Okay, so I'm taking out the components, and when they explode, they do damage to the main body. Let's... Delta attack might be okay. I'm not sure if they're actually, like... I don't think Fang has Provoke. That might be an issue. Oh no, she does. Okay. So hopefully Fang will take most of the damage, and I will just... take out these components. Yeah, so every time one of these explodes, the main body takes damage. This seems to be working okay, although hope better heal lightning real fast.
Surrender now!
I'm like really flirting with danger here. Like, it's consistently almost killing. Maybe I should be playing a little smarter.
This'll be quick.
Nowhere to run, Lefty!
Yeah, I just feel like I'm leaving so much damage on the table by having that Sentinel there.
Thank you.
You are surrounded!
Okay. So now just the main body. I don't feel like this is necessarily a super interesting fight just because it's so much built around the gimmick of, like, taking out components, which is, in practice, doesn't really mean you have to be strategic.
Surrender now!
Yeah, eventually you get counterattacks on your sentinels, and like then they do damage as well as tanking, which is good. Like they're still not as good as like a commando, but it's like at least you're not using up a character slot and doing no damage. Which we actually do have a variant of that in... Oh, well, that looks fine. Okay, so he can be staggered now. You just need to take out the components. Well, let's fucking murder this guy. Yeah, I do agree that, like, it's not a good way to design a boss where it starts off hard and gets easier as you go along. There are ways to do variants of that that can work, where, like, if there's, like, a steady minimum threat level, that means you can... Like, you have to start off well, but, like, the more attrition you take and the less resources you have, like, you can still find challenge there. But in general, I feel like you want your fights to, like, get harder over time. Like, I feel like this is true of progression through the entire game. You want a game to start easy and get harder over time. And like a lot of games struggle with this when they, you know, give you an increased toolkit over time without like increasing the challenge accordingly. Whereas this is like, I've won the fight. This is, I'm good. There's no threat to me. This is just like a given. And sometimes, like having a bit where there's technically no challenge, but you're still going through with like killing something can be a little cathartic. So it's not like necessarily terrible, but this is just going on for a little too long to be a victory lap. Which I think is why like that structure is just best avoided under most circumstances. Also unsatisfying is when you beat a boss and then it goes, but there's more of them? It's just, like, is not dramatically satisfying.
Hey, you thing. Need a ride?
Oh, never mind. This guy, I forgot.
Don't get cute. Right, let's move it. Whew.
Take care, Dad.
When it comes to home and family, we never keep either as close as we should. Whoever stops to think that this time could be the last?
Yeah, Snow is... He's good. Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, let me just grab some water and I'll be right back. And if anyone's got a joke about me being need to stay hydrated, I will fight you. So remember, Snow's coat is an item. It's like, it's his equipment. When you change his weapons, what you're actually doing is changing the pattern on his coat. So presumably he's got 12 of them just on his person at all times. Hey, Ren, shut up.
Seasick?
No, I'm fine.
Okay then.
Fortunately, we are back to two-person parties. That's extremely not very City of Dreams of you. And that's a lot of CP to invest, so let's do that. It's been a while. Yeah, that's a lot to invest. Okay, so commando first because someone in this party has to be a commando. But yeah, it's okay because Nautilus is great. This area is just, it's good. Okay, so what are his commando abilities? Scourge, heavy damage with attack to target about to recover from stagger. I'm interested in how that's different from Smite, which is like the one where you can spike them at the end of stagger. I don't remember what the difference is. Jeopardize, I guess that's basically like a Ravage ability. Or, yeah. It's interesting that, like, the abilities are generally stuff that, like, just happens. So, even though, like, they often have, like, discrete things that happen, it's just, those just get mixed in during the battle. Oh, it's Saz's version of Smite because he doesn't have launch. I get it, that makes sense. What abilities does she get as a Saboteur? Because... reduce elemental resistance. Yeah, Paris, you joined at the best time. I'm real... It's good. Okay. Yeah, let's... I know I don't use Saboteur as much as Ravager, but... I feel like I should be both buffing that anyway. Yeah, okay, let's start by boosting her. Boosting her Saboteur, and we'll move on from there. There's no MP or anything like that. So, like, abilities, like spells in battle are just... All that matters is how much, ATB length they take up. So, like, some are slower than others. But apart from that, there is TP, which is used for like specific abilities, like Libra, Summon. Those are the two they use the most. Use TP, and basically the way it works is that it has a maximum of, I believe, 6, and and the way it works is that, like, you just, it doesn't get filled automatically, but like you gain a little bit at the end of each battle. So if you have 6 TP, basically you're leaving abilities on the table. You could be, it's always good to use up at least like to make sure you have like you're doing something with it. It's not super interesting in this. Lightning Returns had a much more interesting system for that because it's a time loop game and it put the ability that like lets you slow down time on its version of TP. I don't remember what the acronym for it was, but I think in general making your spells use a resource is a mistake because like it means that you're squirreling away resources and like not using them. Just anything that discourages you from hoarding, and like the fact that like if you're not using up your TP, you're wasting it, is a good way to avoid that from being a problem.
Hello and welcome to Nautilus. We hope you have a pleasant day.
If you don't get separated. The parade will be held along Main Street. You allowed to keep chocobo feathers you find on the ground? To remember the first time you came here.
Not a lot of security. For these people, the LaCie panic must still seem like a world away. Huh. Oh, hey. Looks like they're putting Eidolons on parade. We're starting soon. What do you say? Let's go check it out.
Sure.
We interrupt this program to bring you a breaking news update. The LaCie, who surfaced in Palafulum and attacked the city's citizens, are still on the run from authorities. Sanctum soldiers are tracking their location, but have yet to engage the fugitives. The presence of hostages has been confirmed.
What's wrong?
It's her.
Yup. Looks like the army finally found him.
Hostages? They should just blow them away with the LaCie.
They're all infected by pulse or something by now anyway.
The parade's about to start. Come on, let's go.
So what do I think of the sequels? I really so I actually played through this series backwards. I was originally interested in Lightning Returns because at the time they did some interviews explicitly saying that it was influenced by Majora's Mask, which is one of my favorite games. Like their time loop design was influenced by that, so that was what encouraged me to play it first, and then I liked it so much that I went through and played the other 2 games in reverse order.
Hey, loosen up. Gotta make the most of this. Right?
I knew we'd be saying goodbye soon. Better to do it with a smile. The Pompous Sancta Parade, a pageant commemorating the war between Cocoon and Pulse.
The show is starting. Look.
Yeah, there's a reason why they compared Lightning Returns to Majora's Mask. They're very the whole it's not quite a time loop, but like the way that the game is structured around like schedules is extremely Majora's Mask. And also, it's just a very, like, the story-wise, it's very weird and dark and apocalyptic. So you can tell they were thinking about that.
With pulse-born spite and savage might, I will destroy Cocoon!
Here comes the attack from Pulse.
With trusty blade and fal'Cie's aid, I will defend Cocoon! To battle! You dare oppose me? I will fulfill my focus!
Ragnarok!
fal'Cie, grant me strength!
Whoa, man.
Sometimes I had to wonder, could our deaths have brought back peace?
Like, it's cool, but I also don't know what's up with this game's cutscene budget at all.
I'll let you decide. Just keep on smiling.
I know. A Nautilus Park Day. With Sags.
Yeah, but should we really be playing around?
Forget about that heavy stuff for a while. And maybe this'll just fade away.
Okay.
Great. Let's roll.
You ever just have a really traumatic time at Disneyland?
So this is the city of dreams? Where was the Fiend Lord's keep again? Maybe I should ask him.
Fields inside those
The
balls.
I've never seen anything.
Don't blame me.
Wow, can you believe that line?
Alright, so saying Final Fantasy XIII 2 is, I played that second after I decided to commit to the bit of playing through the series backwards, which is silly, but it was fun. 13-2 is just a real fucking weird game. Like, deeply weird. It's about time travel and, like, takes place immediately after this, but then gets into, like, weird bad futures.
It's a huge amusement park, built by the Sanctum. Bet they never expected to see visitors.
So, is this place special?
I promised Dodge. I was gonna bring him someday. Hope I can at least tell him about it.
You'll get the chance.
Maybe. I do know where they're keeping him.
Can I come with you?
Sure. More the merrier. What about you? You got someone special out there?
Special? No.
Really? Now that is kind of sad.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Saz.
kidding. I didn't mean to upset you.
Well, I'm just fine, thank you. I wanted to tell him everything, but I couldn't. Not until the time was right.
So the thing is that Lightning Returns feels like an experimental indie game with an incredible budget. Whereas Final Fantasy XIII-2 feels like a B game made with about $20 and a ton of assets from Final Fantasy XIII. So like,
Little things. I just want to squeeze them till they pop.
oh no,
Okay?
oh no.
2 passengers?
Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Not a lift operation.
But yeah, Final Fantasy XIII-2 really feels like they didn't have a lot of money, they wanted to be very economical about it, and they went with a premise that let them do very weird stuff. So like the alternate futures and...
That's Chocobo, isn't it?
Welcome to Nautilus, the city of dreams.
Somebody's excited.
Yeah. Hey, you could make some new friends.
Dodge is crazy about chocobos. He really wanted to come here.
Let's look around.
Indeed. And in we go.
Like, the music everywhere in this game is great, but the Chocobo tracks are just
Wow, the toilet's just like the
real
thing.
good.
Hey, I saw this one at the parade.
What's there to explain about the sheep? They're cute. They're just vibing.
Seems so gentle. Look at those big curly eyelashes. Hey there, that's a good girl.
God, I wish that were me.
Ooh, the smell. Glad I don't work here.
The smell reminded me of home, the wilderness of Paris.
Hey, come back here.
Find that rascal.
Yeah, so I feel like the biggest example of what Final Fantasy XIII-2's aesthetic is that there's a bad future where you go to an archaeological site and everyone's been replaced by a blood orb. And they give like weird monologues, but like there's no new character animations or anything due to the blood orb. Except they did have the budget to get Nobuo Uematsu, the original Final Fantasy composer, to do a metal version of the Chocobo theme with like lyrics and everything for the rowdy Chocobo that's only found in that area. And it's a real lyrical masterpiece, let me tell you. Where'd you go, you little jerk? Chocolina, where are you?
Did we always sell these toys?
The Chocobo song in question is called Crazy Chocobo. It features lyrics like, so cute yet fierce. Is he from hell? I don't know. Anyway, Final Fantasy XIII-2 is extremely weird. It's like that. It's constantly saving money on like reusing assets. There's certain environments where just like the budget use is really obvious, but all the cutscenes look exactly like the cutscenes from this. Like you can really tell like how segmented the development team was, and also where the budget went towards. It's perhaps not the priority that I would have had, but it's a fucking weird game. My advice is, if you're only gonna play one game from this series, play Lightning Returns. If you're only gonna play 2, play Lightning Returns and play 13 in whatever order you feel like. It's good either way. If you want a really, really weird time, Final Fantasy XIII-2 is, like, it's incredible that it exists. It's an extremely weird B game. I really would describe it as, if you're interested in B games, XIII-2 is... It's weird in a way that's worth seeing.
Part of the gang already.
Always good to be among friends.
The fun times are doubled, and your worries feel far away.
And nothing ever seems as scary when you have someone to share it with.
Yeah. You're still number one, of course.
Of course. Thanks, Vanille. Now when I see Dodge, I can tell him about the Chocobos. He's being held by the military.
Psychon, you mean?
Yeah, since he's a cocoon Lassie. They're running tests. They're trying to figure out his focus. I'm turning myself in.
Huh?
I know they execute Lassie, but hey, they're not total monsters.
Yes, they are.
They'll listen to a final request. They'll have to. Before the end, I want to talk to Dodge one last time. I want to tell him about these Chocobos. I want to tell him about everything I've seen.
But wait, Sass!
Listen, I don't want you to worry. You're not part of this. You'll have plenty of time to split before I surrender.
That's not what I meant.
I'm sorry, Vanille. I'm tired of all this running.
But you can't. What about Dodge? It's a l'Cie because of someone from Pulse. You can't give up without getting revenge. I know who it is. I know who's responsible for the accident. The accident at Uriday.
Then tell me.
The l'Cie who ruined your life was...
Soldiers? Where'd they come from?
She was really trying that time.
No place left to run.
Man, Paris, that sounds great. I would love to see the Black Mages live. I'm so glad that Uematsu is just like getting to do what he wants. He really, really deserves it. Like, I've heard their album versions and they're real good. Oh, that's so many guys. Take these, yes. I mean, who doesn't want to have a big running battle through Disneyland? That sounds great. Now to remember how you actually, like, fight things with only 2 party members. Buffs? Do I want buffs? I think I want buffs. Air juggling the police is valid, but unfortunately Saz is not capable of juggling enemies with his guns, which I think is bullshit. I agree. But yeah, all the animations in the battles in this are real good. Like, you can tell that it's like a huge priority for them because the pacing of this, the more I replay this, like, the more interesting the pacing of the battles is to me, because they're very slow paced, but they don't feel like it. Because it's like huge chunks of downtime, queue up a bunch of attacks, then watch something cool happen on screen. So, like, it's really important that the animations are good. I definitely wish the camera in the, like, regular map worked as well as the camera does in battles, because here it's nailing it. It doesn't work very well in the map, but
This is gonna stay.
it's also been like interesting, like trying to take design influence from this and like coming back to playing this game because I played this several years ago, started designing Get in the Car like based off looking up details, but like not actually having replayed it. And just remembering like what the pacing of this is like has led to some weird things. Like Get in the Car is much faster paced. Like it's it doesn't have the thing of like queuing up attacks, and it's also just like it's just a faster paced game. Which means that like some of the ways that this game does stuff just like don't translate. Because like they're just too slow to fit into a game where everything's supposed to be really reactive and like really like constantly pressing you. Whereas like the slow battles end up being if I say mushy, like I don't mean it in a bad way, but because they have such like a big space to work in, for example, a lot of the time like you'll notice that like your health gets knocked down to like barely anything. So then you switch to like a healing paradigm and then you can just like fully restore again, and you have a huge window to do that. Like it's not like keeping up your DPS. Speaking of defenders, which ones are these? I can't remember if these were good or like really not good. Augment maintenance. The fuck does that mean? Okay, those are just straight up better, so... Wait, no, the stats are worse. I don't know. Yeah, definitely I'd say like this game very much feels like aesthetically trying to hit the same beats that Final Fantasy VII does. Just in terms of like what they're visually influenced by. Like 7 and 8 both I feel like are in the source aesthetic space. And this is just like taking all that and dialing it up to 11. Which I like a lot. I feel like it really holds up now.
Guess Daddy's not gonna make it home.
It's true. I do have points to spend on summons. I'm not, the problem is that, Saz doesn't have his Eidolon yet, so...
I owe ya.
But I should be using up my Libra. No, I know everything there is to know about these guys.
You can do it! Be careful!
Time for a second win.
One star, come on. Guess it wasn't that good. I'm not entirely sure what I should be doing with paradigms in these fights, just because like they're so This is such a weird party configuration. Like Saz and Vanille are. Yeah, I really like how, like, built around, like, incredible optimizations a lot of fights turn into in Final Fantasy 13 too, but also just like,
I owe ya.
in Cocoon in this game. Like, it's the difference between, like, did you finish this in 10 seconds and 5 seconds?
I appreciate it.
Which is, I think, part of, like, why I remember this game as being really fast-paced, even though it's... the battles kind of aren't.
Time for a second win. Yeah. I'm ready.
I love all the robot designs in this game. They're just real cute. Okay, come on, get staggered, you jerk.
This is gonna sting. How about this? This is gonna sting.
Oh.
Dodge. I'm sorry.
That's definitely one of the things about, like, having your battles built around big spikes is that sometimes you can, like, get very far. And, like, you were playing fine for most of it, but you had one moment and then you lose, which isn't necessarily bad. It's frustrating, but it's not necessarily a problem design-wise.
How about this?
Yeah, part of this is just, unfortunately, I'm not very good at multitasking. I'm very bad at, like, both keeping up on chat and also focusing on the battle. I'm just getting better at it. We're getting less wipes due to me trying to both think and also, like, keep up on the combat. Does Saz have electric resistance items equipped? That's a good question. That's extremely possible. I should look for that. So I feel like the thing is not that like the combat having like I don't think it's like difficulty spikes over the course of the game. I think it's just like the amount of damage is done in like very slow but like large spikes rather than like small damage over time. Which is, they're just like different philosophies, and you get a lot out of it in this game precisely because like the party works the same way. Like, you do 4 attacks, you do 3 attacks at once, however many, then you wait for the bar to refill. And it basically has the same pacing of, you know, they do their attack, you do your attack, they do. But yeah, the real problem here is that the lead character dying, game being a game over, I don't like it in SMT, I don't like it in this. It feels weird that one character is arbitrarily special and it's a different one every time. It doesn't really feel like it's in alignment with, you know, the way like using Phoenix Down works. Like I talked before about like why they have to do it in this. It's because that's the only character that you actually have control over. So that's why they do it, but it's weird, I don't like it, and there's a reason why they didn't do it again in Final Fantasy XIII.
This is gonna sting.
Okay, can I? Yes. Got him before the stagger ran out. Okay, yeah, right. I was gonna look at my equipment. The problem is that this game really de-emphasizes equipment until you hit a certain point. So I keep not looking at it. Yeah, okay. Let's get some resist lightning. Not that you can resist lightning, but you know what I mean. Okay, what do I want to upgrade? Mando, yeah. Okay, now I've got Scourge. Yeah, I personally, Lightning is extremely good at explaining my chain bonus, if you know what I mean. I just think she's neat. Okay, so don't need to boost Saboteur, I barely use it. Well, let's increase Ravager, because I extremely use it. Fucking robot fairy circle happening over here.
This is gonna sting.
I assure you, all my lightning thirst is both off the top and comes straight from the heart. They're not friends, they're tools of the state. Please do not support corrupt theocracy. Absolutely fuck the tiny little adorable robot police. I feel like in general, These are asking me to make some very big decisions. I do like that about this game is that like all the equipment are built around like just what are you speccing this character around in like a very, very straightforward and obvious way. Do I need more hit points? I don't need more hit points. I need better cure. I don't know if I'll stick with that, but yeah, definitely, especially when it comes to upgrading your equipment, it's so weird and complicated the system it uses for that. It really is just like, you have to use a guide. They're not expecting you to be poking around with that on your own. Yeah, I really fucking hate that. The really big thing in video games right now, every AAA game has this where, like, you're increasing your reload speed by 6%, or maybe you're doing 2% more damage. I hate micro optimizations. They're so... They're just, like, the most boring thing you can do. And, like, they mean nothing. It's not satisfying to, like, equip a new micro optimization. Okay, sure. I definitely prefer, like, when it's stuff that, like, you can clearly understand and, like just stuff that makes sense and has tangible differences.
Phew. Oh, you're gonna love this.
Wait, I don't need Synergist. I need Saboteur, but I don't need Synergist. Okay, so I'm getting the Saboteur bonus on making the chain gear fall. Was that because of an ability that Vanille has, or is it just Saboteur inherent? I can't remember.
Oh, getting serious now. This is gonna sting.
I feel like micro optimizations are, I'm not gonna say they're never interesting. I think you can build games that are interesting around them. Like if your entire game revolves around making builds and you can change them really quickly, like on a smaller time scale, then you can get interesting stuff with that. Like, I don't know, like League of Legends, for example, is like, all your builds are like very much built around like micro changes. You know, like optimizing your DPS or like optimizing based on where you are over the course of a 40-minute match. That leads to interesting decisions. Although in practice, like the average player is not playing League at the level where it makes sense to do anything but follow someone else's guide for what a good build is. But like still, I think that's a game that is built around optimizations being interesting, precisely because you get to like make your new game plan at the start of a 40-minute match, see if it works, and if it doesn't, you know, you can respec the next time you play the game. Whereas like over the course of a 30-hour single-player game, I don't think it feels good.
You can do it!
Oh, just die, please. Thank you. You're damn right that was 5 stars.
Huh?
Daddy, I found you.
Huh?
Daddy, got you.
Dodge, why are you here?
Because you promised.
But how did you get here?
Dodge.
The capture of undesirables. It seems that was your son's focus. Dodge fulfilled it admirably and served Cocoon in the process. You should be proud of him. Mr. Catsroy. Dodge was a great help. He could sense power of Pulse origin. That let us monitor you. Words can't express our gratitude. The data he provided on enemy LaCie was invaluable. And speaking of gratitude, we enhanced the surveillance footage from the energy plant.
Come back?
Those are the Pulse LaCie behind what happened.
We got close to a cocoon, fal'Cie.
The picture's a little grainy, but I'm sure you recognize that one. You've spent so much time together.
Fang, let's go. What's our focus even matter?
What's it matter? You want to be a monster?
I just...
Keep your chin up. We know the part that matters. Right? We are enemies of Cocoon. Know what I say? Play the part and raise some hell. Might jumpstart our memories.
What?
The fal'Cie. Let's smash it.
Who are you? Huh?
Let me heal.
Yes, that young lady's terrorist assault at Iriday Gorge is the reason Dodge was made a LaCie. Ironic, isn't it? The very girl you're protecting is the one who stole your son. Hold. Shall we finish the job? Or would you prefer to?
Colonel Labat, what now?
Follow them and observe. How often do LaCie kill their own?
So, Nabat's tie is just going directly into her cleavage, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure how that works. Like, cause she's got a tight jumpsuit, so how? It's probably fine. You know, titty.
Why did I even try to run? What was waiting wasn't something I could change.
You are cold-blooded. Lying so people would trust you. Using them as shields. How many you gotta drag down with you? A coward and a killer. The people you use don't get to live. Why should you? Tired of living with guilt? Then die with it. Vanille.
My name is Herbadia Vanille. I'm a l'Cie from Grand Pulse. And to everyone on Cocoon, evil. Shoot me! For your son!
Don't you even! You think you die, and that's that? Hmm? You think you die and everything will be sugar and rainbows?
Then what can I do? What do you want from me? If I can't live or die, what do you want me to do?
Don't ask me. You figure it out.
I don't know!
Neither do I. It's over. There's nothing to do. Shooting you won't help. Neither will living.
Do your worst, you freak!
It's not over.
Yeah, the direction in the scene is just so good. Like, the character animation, the expressions, it's just... they're really nailing it. Like, the scene lives or dies by it, and I feel like it really works.
Okay, fine. You want me? Come and get me!
Okay, so... I'm going to explain quickly. These fights are puzzle fights. You have to figure out how it is that you beat them before the timer over your head runs out. They all have different gimmicks. And the goal is to just boost that gauge until they yield to you. Amass chain bonuses, strengthen allies. Yeah, they all say yields to those who amass chain bonuses, so it's okay. Wait, no, I want synergist and healer, maybe. Okay, so it doesn't look like chain bonuses on your self count.
Phew. Oh, getting serious now. This is gonna sting.
Like, I don't feel like they're bad. I don't feel like they're super frustrating.
I appreciate it.
I just don't feel like the game's vocabulary is actually robust enough to make these interesting puzzles.
This is gonna sting.
Guess Daddy's not gonna make it home.
Okay. Oh, fuck. I can't change my paradigms for this fight, can I? Shit. Okay, they slightly fucked up here, by putting the save point that far back. Oh, okay. No, never mind. They caught the problem. Excellent. Nailed it. Okay, so... I still don't know what I want, though. I guess... So no matter what, I don't need commando abilities. That's not helpful in this fight. I can switch to that one when I'm taking damage. I can use either Archmage or Symbiosis at the start. Okay. I feel like one of the problems is that basically your biggest form of feedback is how quickly the Gestalt meter is increasing by. So like if you're doing something that's like only a little bit effective, it'll still increase it, just like not at a very fast rate. But the problem is like no matter what you do, the fastest still increases it pretty slowly. So it's a little hard to react to. Like it's just a little bit hard to tell, are you doing well or not? Like, I don't think buffing myself with Synergist is enough. I don't think that'll get it over in time because it's moving very slowly, but it's a little hard to tell just like based on the time scale I'm on. Like, I don't think it's a like, I don't think they're too hard. Like, I think if it takes you, like, 2 or 3 tries, that means they've done something right. Like, I feel like that's a sign of a good puzzle, is that, like, it takes you, like, you have a couple theories, you need to work through them. You go through them pretty quickly, too. Like, it's not like this is wasting a ton of your time. Okay, I think I'm on the right track here. Okay, so like for all that I said, I can tell that I'm on track right now. Pushing it, but I think I'll be okay. One thing that's unclear is that the word Gestalt is not part of the meter. It's you just have to get the bar up to where it says Gestalt.
That's right. Let's do it.
A lot of things can be excused.
Shooting kids ain't one.
Kindness like his, you don't forget.
Enough is enough.
Pardon me. I'll be back in just a moment. Once again, this is just entirely too many cephalopods. I just don't know about the quantity of them here. You can hang.
Do be careful with those. For every task, there's a perfect tool.
All of Cocoon was against us. With us dead, they were sure everything would go back. Back the way it was before.
That is a really mean chapter, like, segment name.
There she is, the fal'Cie, pride of the Sanctum Sky Fleet. This mighty flagship currently serves as a prison for the l'Cie apprehended in Nautilus.
Sugar and rainbows.
The l'Cie will face official sentencing upon the convoy's arrival in the capital.
So what's with the freak show?
So the Primarch can stand in judgment of the villainous l'Cie, with their execution as the climax. The people will cheer their demise, and fal'Cie dominion will be undisputed.
All part of the plan.
Yes, but it also presents an opportunity.
In a display of unwavering dedication to duty, the Primarch himself has boarded the fal'Cie and focused his personal attention on resolving the Pulse crisis.
They're baiting us, trying to draw us out.
Bait, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Here are your friends. Come and get them.
Well, if they're daring us to mount a rescue, I'll take that action. All in.
Alrighty, bets are on the table. We leave when you're ready. I'll be standing by.
I mean, does Sid need a personality? Let's just, like... come on. Yeah. I don't think he needs a personality. I think that's okay.
SciComm fleet has us under surveillance. While we're busy watching the Lindblom, you slip aboard the fal'Cie. The time is right. Our brigade will launch an all-out assault to back you up.
Also, the game engine not really having an idiom for having conversations. They would fix that in Final Fantasy XIII too.
That's all right. Another cavalry unit rescued him and moved him somewhere safe. I kind of wish I could talk to him, but I guess I have to make my own choices now.
You ready to roll out?
Come on, let's get this show on the road. I finally found Vanille again. And I'll be damned if I'm just gonna stand around while she's in trouble.
How far are we? I'm not sure. Let me check. Yeah, okay, so we're 16 hours in, and my last playthrough took 46 and a half hours, so we're like at least a third. Yeah, the chapter markers are not really,
Once we take off, there's no turning back.
There's one chapter where most of the game fits into.
This baby back here is a SciComm vessel. It'll deliver you to the fal'Cie.
Oh, we're cargo now?
A parting gift to our rotting government. Take those SciComm guys apart.
And we're supposed to take on all of them? I think the whole division's on board.
I don't care how many lackeys they've got. Bring them on. Vanille's in there.
I'm sure she's fine. Vanille's tougher than I could ever be.
Hope, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm terrified. But I'll be okay. Because I have you, and this guy, and Fang. We're all in this mess. We gotta stick together.
This guy.
Right. Enough with the bonding. It's go time. Oh.
What do you mean, this guy?
Man, that is some cool mechanical design.
We didn't expect to see you here in person, Your Eminence.
This crisis threatens the entirety of Cocoon, my child. You agree that standing at the fore is a leader's charge?
Wholeheartedly.
It also affords a splendid view of the impending execution.
What's the holdup? Stand by. Verifying identification code. You let me land this bird or I'll crash her into your ass.
I mean, wouldn't mind. Never mind.
Code verified. You're free to dock. About damn time. All clear. Welcome aboard.
Like, I really like the weird hologram that they have to fly through here. This is good.
Code red, repeat. Code red. Attention all crew, this is not a drill. Code red.
All right. Let's tear him up.
We're here for Vanille and Saz. Stay focused.
Okay, so I need to scan all these jerks. Yeah, you know what's really exciting about these being human enemies? I can steal their fucking lunch money. So we're finally hitting the point in the game where, like, you actually have money to spend and therefore can buy stuff. Which is, like, just for the first 15 hours, that's not really an option. You don't really, you don't get enough to, like, you don't really get money. You get some stuff that you can sell, but also there's not really much reason to be buying stuff before this point in the game, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, time to beat up these guys for their lunch money. Yeah, 2 incentive chips.
Looks like they want to play.
No kidding. So where to?
Right up there. Don't remember inviting you.
Yeah, we don't actually have like a steal ability, it's just beat them quickly and you get better drops. Okay, let's upgrade. Do I want to upgrade Commando? Yes, because Lightning is the best Commando, so let's do this. Bolster attack or ruin ahead of attack queue when non-staggered target is not targeting you. That's... I guess it's interesting that, like, you don't need to know how any of the abilities work. Like, that's not necessary because the computer uses them. It will make decisions, but... I don't quite understand what that means. And I don't understand why it would be helpful. Well, whatever. Like, I'm sure it's powerful. They probably put it in for a reason. Yeah. Yeah, okay. If she's not being targeted, her first attack does more damage. I guess what that effectively means is she does slightly more damage. Like if you got a Sentinel in the party. Is what it comes down to. Thank you. Raise target status ailment resistance. Cool. Extend duration of existing status enhancements. Okay. I mean... I think I've seen people suggest that Fang is actually the best commando. I don't entirely remember the reasoning. So yeah, well, okay, it's just for renewing buffs. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's buff her Sentinel abilities anyway, so I'll be less frustrated with having her as a Sentinel. I forgot about this. Oh no, that's a technique. That's not an ability. So that's just if she's the head of the party, then I can use that. Not super useful. I'm just gonna upgrade whatever for Snow. It doesn't really matter.
I'll make short work of you.
Oh yeah, right. What the fuck are my paradigms? I don't think I've seen anyone... I've seen people say that Lightning is the best Ravager. I don't know what the argument in favor of Snow would be. If you say it, I believe you. I just don't know... I don't know what it would be about him that... Oh... Okay. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so what do I want to have here? I guess... Sure! 2 Commandos and a Ravager. That's always good. Can I do this? Yes. I already have it. I guess... Yeah, okay. I've got double commando right here. Aggression.
Let's get this over with.
Okay. Okay, so I should change Bully to be my primary so I lead with it. That way we start with those sweet buffs.
You're nothing.
Ah, fuck. Did not change it quickly enough. Okay, so set Bully to be the active paradigm.
Let's get this over with. Feeling nervous? New strategy. Pathetic. Pathetic. Thanks.
Relentless assault, that's what I want. Oh, thanks for joining, Paris. Always good to have you. And your slightly terrifying energy. Yeah, double medic is not, like, it's not the worst idea. I can definitely see the use of that. I haven't normally found it necessary, but it's definitely the oh shit button. Yeah, I've got a double commando in there. I feel like that's a good... That is a good way to get some real damage in.
Something bad's waiting for us.
I usually like to go Rav Rav Calm until you get some staggers in there, then switch to Calm Calm Rav.
We'll find another route.
Way ahead of you. See that?
Let's go.
Couldn't go getting blown away now.
So, how am I doing for money right now? I guess I can sell some of these. Okay, selling the credit chips, and where's the other? Incentive chip. Okay. Yeah, that's... That's some... I don't know if that's enough to... If I should really be thinking about... I'm gonna hold off for a little bit longer, but this is the part of the game where, you can, like, upgrade your stuff. Like, upgrade, weapons. And if all these items, like, mysterious items that I have look interchangeable, they basically are. It comes down to, by the end, you basically use 2 types of item, and that's it. I'll explain that more once we get to it, but I don't... It's just a weird system. As far as I know, the summons only do damage, and honestly, they're not... I don't think they're super useful for that. It's mostly just, honestly, I only ever use them as like a panic button, like I'm about to die. Here's a good way to just tank some shit. I'm not entirely sure what the strategy there is. Yeah, Death is an ability that Vanille has. I believe that there's a specific loadout for her that makes it more likely to happen. Like there's one weapon that makes it more likely to happen. But I never relied on it. I did not fuck around with Ochos. Okay. I feel like in general, Death is one of those abilities that's like really hard to make, like this game is really good about making most of the status effects like really useful. You use debuffs in this a lot, and like it's a rare instance of Final Fantasy like really prioritizing debuffs. But, and like, most of that's just, like, they just work on everything. But unfortunately,
Thank you.
I think Death is just, like, because the concept behind it is so hard to make work. Like, fundamentally, how do you balance an instant kill? I feel like it's interesting that, like, in Shin Megami Tensei, they have, like, two elements that are in opposition to each other, and their abilities are just always instant kill. If you use a darkness or light element ability, it's always an instant kill. It's just a question of, like, how likely it is to succeed. So, they can balance that by, you can use a dark ability to get an instant kill, but you're giving yourself a weakness as well, which is a good way of balancing it. Doesn't really interact very well with the SMT thing of you know, kill the party leader and you're dead, but okay, that's interesting. I feel like it's more. I feel like it's definitely that system is much more interesting than making it damage. It helps those elements feel distinct. I will also say, like, my experience with SMT is primarily through Persona. I haven't played a lot of others. I mostly find myself falling into the pattern of people recommend an SMT game, I pick it up, I play about 5 hours of it, and it just doesn't click with me. I think I've gone through like 3 different non-Persona SMT games and bounced now. But I like Persona a lot, so, you know, that's fine. As I'm sure everyone who is sick of hearing me hollering about how incredible Persona 5 is is incredibly aware of.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. You looking at me? This'll be fun.
Oh, well, thanks for joining. Yeah, honestly, even in P3P, it's a rough time. And, like, I know that they... made a lot of changes. Okay, I need to change these because I'm sick of needing to have a sentinel in the party just to do some healing. Don't feel like it's necessary. Yeah, diversity. That's what I want. Love diversity.
New strategy.
Yeah, I thought that was sarcasm, but no, this skybox is just good. I like this. I feel like the only unfortunate thing is that they used, these airships are 3D modeled, whereas I think they actually probably should have just, like, done a render, like, just, like, do, just make them a texture, because that way they could get anti-aliasing on them like the rest of the skybox has. But, like, it's good. Yeah, no, these... Sorry, I'm just gonna admire this, this for a moment. Yeah, as soon as we hit the next save point, I'm gonna switch over to getting the car loser. I'm just gonna show off. I just have one thing to show this week, but it's based on some feedback from last week. What's going on with the chat overlay? If you can send me a screenshot of that, I can take a look later. Right now I can't actually see what it looks like. I don't think ghost robots are GoBots. I think those are like something else. Oh. Huh, that's weird. Okay, I'll look into that for next time. I don't really know much about how that works, but yeah, I'll try to get that fixed.
Time for another approach. Thanks. And I was just getting started.
I'm sorry, non-binary robot. I can see you. I feel like there might be some evidence to support that I'm not a robot. I'm not gonna... I don't need to prove my credentials here.
Keep a cool head.
True, it has been way too long since anyone got launched, and that's fucked up. Are these guys not technically on the ground? Is that why?
Just like I planned it. Forward march.
Really, I promise I'm not a robot. I'm extremely flesh and blood. I checked. Like, on both counts.
Let's get this over with. New strategy. Come on, then.
I suppose it is true that Terminators were flesh and blood. I don't have a counter argument to that.
Eat this.
Oh, well, if it's for science, then I suppose that's just entirely reasonable. Oh, fuck. Fangs down. See, this is what happens when you distract me by talking about shit like 2B cosplay. I'm blaming all of you for this. What am I even doing other than just waiting to die? I guess, like, I could use one of my, like, 22 Phoenix Downs.
Thanks.
Is it possible that you're saying you're just describing something that you'd like to see and then using the phrase for science to justify it? Like, what's our test condition here? What's our hypothesis? Do we have a control? I feel like what you're proposing here isn't science, it's just sexy engineering. Yeah, that was 3 stars. Like, I don't know what you're trying to prove here other than you're gay.
Enough is enough.
Why can't I do it? I got no reason to keep living. I can't even kill you. Freeze! Take him!
You should be proud. Your son's a hero. The boy who saved Cocoon. We'll erect a memorial in Eden and put his crystal on display.
A memorial? He's a little boy!
As the son of a fal'Cie, he would have lived in shame and misery. Isn't it better he be treated with reverence as a monument to sacrifice? The next time your eyes open will be the last.
I'm pathetic.
That's my life. I'm the one who lied to everyone.
Forget it. You can't change what's done.
But if I just told the truth...
Now. I've been thinking. You woke up from being a crystal once. Well, that means Dodge will wake up one day too, right? What was it like? I mean, how did it happen? You were done with your focus, right?
I was chosen. was made into a l'Cie to fight against Cocoon. It happened back on Grand Pulse, hundreds of years ago. We finished our focus, and we fell into a long crystal sleep.
Yeah, I really like Saz a lot. I feel like Tortured Dad just works so much better than Angry Dad. And he is like the most advanced Tortured Dad technology we have. It's good. Him and Vanille are really cute. It's very sweet. I really like it.
Bang! We woke up on Cocoon to the start of a new focus. Fang, she'd forgotten everything. And for me, just the thought of hurting people again. It was too much. So I lied. I played dumb, said I'd lost my memory. I wanted to escape my fate as a l'Cie. And ever since then, I've been running away from it.
Let us through! Block our way, you die!
You trying to get him angry?
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd run. There's been enough blood spilled.
You thought they'd run? Let me refresh your memory. Those soldiers think they're protecting Cocoon from l'Cie. The fal'Cie have them all brainwashed.
fal'Cie. I have had it. We cannot let this go on.
Attention all crew. Code green. Repeat. Code green. Security forces stand by. Hostile forces on board. Code green.
Okay, I'm just gonna save up and then we'll switch over to get in the car. Hey Miguel. Give me just a second here. Can I just get you to cover up my screen? I just realized I forgot to do a build before.
Yeah, 1 second. One.
Yeah.
That one.
Sorry, I just need to, there's something I can't show, in my Unity setup, so I forgot to do a build before, we started the stream because we were having those audio issues, so I'm just gonna do a quick build right now. And then I will be able to launch the game. So yeah, just bear with me for a second. I'm just hitting build. Yeah, I normally do this before we start. I just it just completely slipped my mind because we had a bunch of stuff with the audio we need to test, and it took a little longer than we were hoping due to, I'm not entirely sure what we have.
The encoding lag seems to be
Yeah.
like pretty random.
We're trying to like sync the audio on the microphone to the audio in the game so you don't get like like this faint echo. But like the difference in time is different every time. It's very weird. But yeah, despite the hit the desk image on screen right now, Unity's working fine. There's just something on my screen that I can't show due to reasons. Okay. And also, let's get the audio turned down because that'll be...
Oh, yeah, give me a sec to plug in.
Yep. Because that will be very loud when it starts. Okay, you can show my screen again. Just going to jump into battle so we can test the audio because this game has very different audio levels than Final Fantasy XIII, and I still haven't really put in the in-game volume menu yet. So I'm just right now I'm just talking so that Miguel can fix my audio level so that I'm audible over the game. So Miguel, let me know how I'm sounding. Hopefully should be okay. Okay. Does it sound good now?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate the help. Okay, so the thing I wanted to show off was is the slow ability. So someone in chat last time had a really good suggestion for basically the problem here is that like battles are just so fast in this that I really want like slow as an ability to be something that like has a lot of like I want it to be powerful, but I also want it to be something that has a lot of maintenance to it, because otherwise like it would just be too good if it was like you fire it off once and then like forget it, and then like it'd be bad if it was something you fired off once, forgot about it, and then Sam just wasn't like useful on that board anymore. So I want it to be something that like requires maintenance, because also like stop is just like too powerful. It's really strong, especially if you're only fighting one enemy. So a suggestion that someone had that I really liked was that it should be like a stacking effect. So you cast slow on them once and they become slow, and then when you hit them with slow in that state, it stacks and they become stopped. I really like that a lot, but It's a really good idea. I really liked it. There is one problem with that. I'm just gonna show this in a few fights. And I'll talk about what the problem with it is. And it's just that, like, the way it is right now is that it's too much upkeep. It's really hard to keep on top of, like, switching back and forth. You know, like, trying to keep track of, like, oh, that one just dropped out. If you're, like, trying to maintain it. And, like, while you're also doing attacks. And right now, like, I'm not interacting with the Ravage meter at all. I mean, here. I'll throw Angela into the fight just so we can get some Ravage in there. But, like, it's pretty hard to keep track of. And this is part of the problem with this game just being, like, so fast-paced. Is that, like, I want it to be similar feeling to Final Fantasy XIII, where, like, your big decisions are, like, loadout based rather than, like what are your broad tactics rather than, like, trying to micromanage. Like, trying to keep up on keeping both these enemies in either slow or stop at the same time is just... it's just difficult, and... like, it's good that, like, I don't think the balance on it being hard to maintain is wrong, because, again, it's really powerful. So... am I gonna explain or tutorialize this? So the way that this works is that if you look at your equipment, it will show you what. Oh, whoops! There's a rendering error there. Let's look at something else. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, like, for each of your abilities, if you go into the screen, it gives you text telling you how they work. And this will just be, like, covered on this screen, so you get it, you see, oh, you stack these. And, like, you'll then, like, pull it out in battle and see how it actually works. Something that I've been thinking about iterating on is that I feel like, I think slow works well, but I think I want... something I'm gonna try is I'm gonna try increasing the amount of time that slow, like, works for by a lot. Like, make it, like, last, like, maybe, like, twice as long or maybe even 3 times as long, like a really long slow. But then make it so that, that the stop effect happens if you have an enemy that's slowed and also staggered. Because the thing that's frustrating me right now is that it's taking Sam off of Ravage duty. And when you have enemies that aren't being, like, ravaged or staggered, it means that you're actually losing some of the inertia, so this is slowing down the way battle works. Whereas, like, if I was just doing this, we would end it much faster. The one problem with that is that, right now, when an enemy is staggered, they don't do anything, like, they don't attack at all, which is actually different from how Final Fantasy XIII handles it. In that, it's, I believe it slows down the enemy. Actually, I'm not even sure that's true. Like, when enemies are staggered, they enter an alternate state. But, and, like, that alternate state has certain properties, but, stopping them from attacking isn't necessarily one of them. There are some enemies that are... where it works that way, but most I think it doesn't. So I think something that might be interesting is if, like, you have the slow ability, it makes enemies attack at half speed normally. If you stagger an enemy, that also makes them move at half speed, which, like, substantially nerfs them. That still makes, like, stagger feel really good. Maybe even slower than that, like, but then make it so that, like, if you add slow on top of that, they just don't attack at all because they're stopped, which would be a good way to make slow feel really powerful, while also be something that, like, has to be maintained, but also something that, like, you don't necessarily want to be doing all the time because, you know, it's limiting your ravage ability. So I'm gonna give that a shot for next week. We'll put it in, we'll try it out. I don't know if my theory is correct or not. It might not be. We'll see. Something else I put in this week that you may have noticed that I'm really happy with. Here, let's try this fight again. And I will show you this in action. I was starting to feel like stagger is just a little too powerful. Oh, that bug is back. Fuck. Okay, I thought I fixed that bug. Apparently I did not. This is why I show this. Okay, so I'm gonna stagger this wrong dolphin. It's now staggered. Gonna do a little bit of damage to him. So as you can see, it did 30 scale damage. It was scaled up because of the stagger meter. But if you watch for this enemy to heal, I'm now multiplying the heal by the stagger meter as well. So if there's an enemy healer, and you're doing a lot of damage, it just makes it like a little bit more powerful. You're still, like, ultimately gonna have a higher damage output than it does. So if you just keep wailing on it, it will work, but, like, I think it's just something that makes, like, it, like, feel a little bit more threatening. Could slow turn damage into stagger? That's interesting. I think in general, it's good to keep, like, types of damage discrete, like, keep stagger percentage and, like, exploit damage different. Just so, like, it's really obvious that there's a difference between the two. Another thing I was thinking about is, so right now we have the juggle ability that works like this, just knocks them up, and it's, you know, it's obviously very powerful right now. But I was thinking something that might push it into more alignment with the way it works in Final Fantasy XIII is if, like, this... That's weird. Why is that happening? Sorry, I'm just gonna take a note of a weird bug that I just saw, and then I will keep talking. Sorry, just pulling out my phone, putting out the notes app, just making note of that weird jump. I'll look at that later. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, something that I've been thinking of is what if juggle, like, it still does 3 attacks when they're, but it only actually launches them into the air when staggered. Since that, and that way that would be something that, like, makes, like, stagger feel more powerful. And it would also be a good way to like compensate for if I changed it so that if I changed it so that you could like enemies that are in stagger could still attack. That would be a good way to like have something that feels powerful because it's something that can like stop them from attacking. Because really, like, my goal is that I want the stagger state to feel really powerful. And I feel like this thing that, introducing abilities that, like, de-emphasize that, I don't know if I like. I'd much rather, but, like, I would be interested in, say, introducing abilities that make stagger feel even better would be interesting. Yeah, I feel like it's great when like the battle ends like with a freeze frame on Angela being in the air. It's just fun. I think in that case, stagger, stop, and like, and juggle would feel similar because like they're basically doing the same purpose of stopping the enemy from attacking. But I don't know if that's actually a problem because like that just means that like you have two characters that both have the ability to do the same pretty powerful thing, just in different ways, which means that like it's just an option that's available to you. So I don't feel like that, like, I think that actually wouldn't be a problem. How taunting a launched enemy is just kind of mean. So, yeah, that's what I put in this week. I think the only other noteworthy thing in there is that one of the features that I had to put in was the ability for let me show one more example of this. I'm gonna use this against like a really inappropriate fight. So I put in the ability to put these outlines around enemies. Whew, that was brutal. Okay. And I don't have any healing items. I'm gonna run away from this fight and just heal up. Use some debug abilities. Wait, no, I don't actually have a debug heal ability. I only have a debug, do damage ability. Yeah, debuffs are absolutely easier to balance when they're based around, like, the longer game. And that's sort of, like, why I've been struggling with this, and in a way that, like, they didn't necessarily struggle as much. Just in general, it's easier to balance, like, that slow fight versus something that's, like, really punchy. And it's not just the fact that, like, Final Fantasy XIII is slower, it's also the fact that it regenerates health at the end of every fight. So, like, they don't need to worry about something like taking too big a chunk out of you and just, like, you know, like, being survivable but then ruining you forever. Okay, right. So, the thing I was going to show is I now have the ability to draw just like an arbitrary border around any enemy. And I also have the ability to do that for the party as well. So now when you use the boost ability, which what it does is that it increases your effective level. So it turns Overkill 9+ into Overkill 9++, which means that it's a level, that means that's a level 11 ability. Sorry, this is something that only comes in late game, so. And I was finding, like, when I just adjusted the, like, when I was just putting it in the text box above, it was pretty hard to manage, because, like, it's hard to keep track of who have I boosted already, who haven't I boosted. Has it dropped? And you're like counting plus signs. So I've added this border, and what I'm gonna do for both the boost ability and also the border around stuff that's been slowed down is I want to keep going with that. I want to for slow, I want to have it be so that like there's like a little like soft pixel gradient on it, like the dither effect that I have on some screens. Just to make it like have like a little bit of a crunchier texture. Since yeah, Final Fantasy VI has like pulsing borders on status effects and. But yeah, I want it to just like look like a little bit, just like have a little more texture to it. For the boost character sprites, I'm thinking something I'd like to try out is like making that a mask for particles. So like you have like a little like fuzzy like power glow happening around them that's like masked by the border, so like it's only happening like around them. And then it could be, but basically what I want to do is I want to have like a little more to the vocabulary of them so that I can then like have them fade as they get less power, like as the timers run out. So like if the orange starts to disappear from the slowed enemy, you'd be able to tell like, oh, I need to re-up this buff or this debuff. Or if the particles start disappearing from the allies, you would know, oh, this is getting to the point where like it's running out. So that's something that I'm gonna try playing with. I'm not sure exactly what's gonna work there. I'm gonna do a couple experiments. This is just the first step. And like honestly, this is really like the sort of thing that like needs to be iterated on. It took me a few tries to like even get the animations here like feeling good. So yeah, it'll take a bit of work. So next week I'm gonna show that off, and we'll see. Like, is it satisfying? Does the slow change work? Does it feel like too weak now? I don't know, but like I really like the idea of slow and stop being like there's a more powerful version of that. I just want it to be something that's a little bit something that isn't like completely filling your mental bandwidth, because right now even I'm having trouble with this, and like I'm pretty good at playing this game on fast and doing weird strategies, whereas I think it might just be too much for the average player. Anyway, that's all I've got, so thank you everyone for joining me. Unless you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer, but otherwise, we are not going to be streaming this Sunday. Miguel has a lot of work to do to get stuff ready for PAX, so we'll just be taking a week off, and we'll get back to it once con season is a little calmer. I will still be streaming next Thursday, and yeah, I'll be showing off. I'll be showing more Final Fantasy XIII, and I will show you what are the results of that iteration. Oh, asking about will the pause wall be toggleable? Yeah, I'll make that an option. I don't really know if that's like too much for, you know, accessibility reasons, so like it'll be an option. You can turn that down to something less aggressive. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for shouting out in chat. I always really appreciate it. As I said, I only got the idea for this adjustment to the way that stop works because of some things that someone suggested in chat. So this really has been like genuinely very helpful to the development process, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Please press stop streaming.